Okay, so the traps which are up here, this little bit here that you quite often see in bodybuilders or rugby players or whatever, that are just, you know, sort of big inflated sections up at the top from the shoulder right up into the back of the neck. They can cause an awful lot of issues for a lot of people. Quite often, if you feel that you've got pain up the back of your neck or you've got a headache in the back of your neck, it's very rarely to do with anything that's at the back of your neck. Quite often the tension is coming from tight traps. And usually the reason for that is sitting at desks where you're kind of hunched up a lot, or sitting in a car where you're sort of driving in this rounded forward position on your phone, so it's one arm that's doing it because you get your arm up like this, or for more women than men, holding a handbag or something over one shoulder and having to hold it up in position. Basically, it comes from tension or from sitting in a position where you are in that kind of hunched up, rounded position, and now you get a shortening of this muscle up here. So one of the ways of loosening it off is basically to use sort of massage therapy, and to do that we need one of these. This is just a lacrosse ball. You could use a tennis ball. I don't overly advise it because they're a bit soft, they're a bit too soft. You could use a golf ball. I don't overly advise that either because they're so hard, it can be incredibly painful. A baseball is quite good, I've used one of those. A lacrosse ball, oh no, this is a lacrosse ball. I can't remember what the name of the other ball is. I've tried another ball that's quite good. I can't remember what sport that was for. But anyway, you're looking for something that's got a tiny, tiny bit of give, basically something you could probably bounce. And that way you're going to get right into the muscle without damaging yourself by pushing too hard. You could, as I say, use the golf ball, but it would be painful. And if you're using a tennis ball, because that's all you have, that's fine. Also, if you've got a foam roller, you could just use it and hold it upright and use that in the position that I'm going to show you now. But to go back to this, essentially what you're doing is you're looking to try and find the tense point right in the middle of the muscle up on top here. Quite often when people do this, they end up letting it come far too far forward and you don't find that tension point. So you're trying to find it up here. Now once you're in position, you can obviously maneuver yourself around to try and find where it feels the sorest, and that's what to go for. What I'm going to do is go to the back end here, because then you can see the side that's got the ball on. So you've got this going up here, and you're looking to get yourself over so that you're almost parallel to the floor. Okay, you don't have to be all the way down, but enough that you can drive into the wall, into the frame of the door, or whatever it is you're using at the time. Okay, so hopefully you can see there that what I was doing was manoeuvring around to try and find the largest point of tension and pressing in. Now normally I would hold it for longer than that, that was just for a demonstration. You would hold it there for 20 to 30 seconds. Then within that point of the greatest tension, if you can try and get it to relax off a little bit, I had my arm draping down the way, and then what I did was took a breath in. Obviously my head was the other side of the column, so you wouldn't be able to see, but I was taking a breath in, and as I breathed out, taking my hand up and round my back. And the reason for doing that is because that then creates tension or contraction within this muscle. And so by doing that, you're effectively pushing the muscle into a point that's already loaded, and now it has to sort of break itself around. It's very uncomfortable, but the idea for you is to try and make sure that you just keep breathing out. So take a big breath in, and as you move your hand, so you can try and relax through the movement, even though it's probably going to be quite sore. Hold that there for another 10 or 15 seconds with a little mini massage. Slowly take your hand back down and come back up gently. If you do that enough, I wouldn't recommend doing this necessarily every day unless the symptoms are chronic, maybe once every 2 days. But once you've been doing it for a few weeks, you should start to find that your shoulders start to relax. But you should also find, if you do have any problems at the back, that you get almost instant gratification from it. It may not last for more than half an hour or so, but it should be pretty instant that you just start to take that tension off there, because you can suddenly get a surge of blood flow into the area and a lot more movement. The other thing then is obviously to try and be careful, if you do feel that is making an improvement, to not make it worse again by loading up your shoulder, by carrying a bag over one shoulder, or going back into that hunched position. Just become more conscious of it and try and make sure that your shoulders stay a bit more mobile.